stream.
Holy crap, we're back, and T-Money's going to try and run the show. Because my power supply smoked out last week, guys. Welcome to the show, League of Extraordinary Nerfherders. T-Money, take it over.
Welcome, everybody. Tonight on the League of Extraordinary Nerfherders, we give you tips, tricks, and things to think about that we hope will improve your offensive and defensive performance in territory wars. Those joining us can look forward to weird and wonderful teams to take down arena-worthy enemies, our territory wars offensive checklist, 10 key tunes that will maximize your mods, and 3 clutch abilities to save for offense. But first, let's introduce our co-hosts, blood siblings, soulmates, and part-time vampires. Yes, only at night, dummies. Let's go to Grand Admiral Teals, who is on a birthday eve right now. Teals, tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're farming right now. Let's go around the table, Nerfherders.
Hello, I'm Teals. I hang out in the wolf pack with T-Money, and I do things officer-like, and she keeps me from disciplining people.
I really do.
Current farms, I'm kind of playing around with my dark sides a bit. Mainly sort of working up Empire. I'm finishing up my Nightsisters at the same time. I kind of got the main 3 up to gear 12. Got Mother Talzin just needs stars. I got all her pieces there. Just trying to hone out both sides of the faction so we get some evenness. And what was the other question? Anything else?
How does it feel to be, what are you, 57 years old tonight?
31 in the morning.
31 in the morning? We might be streaming for your birthday here pretty quick.
Yeah. Currently feels like shit just because I'm on the back end side of the flu, but we'll survive. We'll make it.
That's the spirit.
Indeed.
Well, happy birthday, buddy.
Happy
Well,
birthday.
thank
Happy
you,
birthday.
Yay! No, I will not be drinking tequila and talking about obscenities with my vagina that I
Talking
don't
about
have.
the, how kempt your bush is?
Yes.
I bet it's completely unkempt. That's my bet.
Not to mention there's some lumps and phalange danglings around it.
Oh,
you know.
Jesus. All right,
Oh.
you win. That trumps anything that went on my birthday. We should probably say at the beginning of our streams that we are TVMA, which means we're for 18 plus. I mean, really, I could have listened to this when I was about 13 years old, but that's, you know, my burden to bear. This should be 18 plus. Moms, dads, if you're listening to my voice right now and your kids are listening to this, probably not a good idea. Let's go to Darth Bob next. Bob, introduce yourself and tell us about what you're farming right now.
I'm Darth Bob. I'm the leader of the Castle Run. I am currently first sword team. It's going pretty good. But
I'll be back. Pizza's here.
Toodles.
anyway. So yeah, that's
What are you
going on
farming
with me.
right now, Bob? I didn't hear that.
My troopers,
Your
Bureau
troopers.
troopers,
Nice.
and my first order team.
Awesome. I felt like the troopers were originally a burden, but they're a really cool team. I like them a lot. They're super fun to play. Very yeah, there's lots to think about. All right. Good old Maurice. What's up with you?
Look.
Tell
What's
us-
up? What was the question?
Tell us who you are and a little bit about what you're farming right now.
My name is Good Old Maurice. I'm a 6'3" Caucasian male residing in the Southeast United States. I'm nearsighted, and when I'm farming in the game, I'm not doing a goddamn thing in the game. Nothing. I'm hoarding everything for the raid. I'm not farming any toons. I'm not putting any gear on any character. I'm not doing anything. Everything's on hold. So I know that wasn't very exciting, but that's pretty much what's going on.
Now, did you have the Imperial Probe Droid unlocked before today?
No, we got it today.
You got them today, and you're not investing in that beautiful, wonderful god of droiddom.
I will when he gets to 7-star. I'll go all the way up. I got him to gear 7. That's where he's staying for the foreseeable future.
All right, and I'm T Money, for the artist formerly known as T Money G. I am part of the Wolfpack Guild, who are a ragged-eared bunch of little badasses. Yeah, what am I farming right now? I'm working on the imp droid. I got him to gear 8, and I'm stuck on a scanner and a carb because I got my old Ben up to 10 for territory wars. And yeah, I'm excited about that. After Impy's done, I'm going after EP. I'm pretty damn sure, unless EA throws another meta toon at us before that happens, which is possible. They just keep coming. What's yeah, T Money G string. That's right, Sith Lord. So what's the rhythm right now? How, like, we got Rey in December. We got this rework really the beginning of February. It's like one every month and a half around. I guess that doesn't seem like very much, but it's a little bit overwhelming. Oh yeah. Hey Wixel, how's it going? Let's do a shout out to our peeps here. We got Grandmaster Wixel in the house. Wolfpack's newest member, doing a whole bunch of super nerdy stuff with us.
What's up, Wixel?
Spreadsheets and glorious things. I don't know how much I'm allowed to reveal, so I won't do anything at this point. So many wonderful peeps. Darth Hideous, who is, I think, safe to say, our troll right now. He wears that proudly. Chopper, who failed at Troopers today. It's very unfortunate, Mr. Chopper. Next time you'll get it, I'm sure. Sith Lord.
That was like the least encouragement I've ever heard.
Yeah, I got a little traumatized today. We were so focused on the imps, and we've been, trying to encourage everybody to get their troopers up for the last, gosh, I don't know, a couple months. And we got 20 shards last time, which was really good. It was one of the highest numbers that I've come across for a guild our size. And then today, one of my officers, we have about...
I'm back, I'm sorry.
We had about 48
sure
people.
I was special.
Nice. We had about 48 people ready to do it. We had a couple new players who didn't have Stark ready, and we, like, it was a requirement. And somebody, I don't know, Teals, was that you today? Some jerk was like, there was a 44% success rate for passing the imp mission. I was like, no. I almost started crying.
Yeah, someone did it. I think someone was going off a survey they were doing. It's like, thumbs up if you passed. Well, no one looks at Discord. Yeah. That's not where you get stats. Come on now.
And
that's not how any of this works.
I almost broke into tears, and then we got our message back, and we had 43 people pass the mission today. So it's one of those moments where hard work pays off on the part of all the officers and everything, getting our shit together. Anyway,
a lot of whip cracking.
It was a lot of whip cracking. Yeah. What are we talking about? I don't know. Should we just dive into things, or should we do some ridiculousness? Oh no, we're going through the list. Where was I at? Sith Lord, hubby, how are you? Hope you're well.
Hi, Chopper.
Hi, Chopper. David Lee. I love when people use their real names. I'll creep you later, David Lee. KP67. Posse brother, how are you? Hope you're well. Jordan Kennedy. Return to catching live strings. Jordan, yes, welcome back for sure. Captain Blackbeard's giving the thumbs up. Who else? Grimmy Grim. Hey Grim. Not first. Teals was first. Oh, that's cheating though. Teals started the stream. Let's go to the drunk tank. Darth Bob, what are we drinking tonight?
All right, tonight we're going to be drinking Jim Beam Fire. I'm not too excited about this alcohol.
You could have picked something else, Bob. You picked the liquor.
Yeah, I was trying to compare different cinnamon alcohols. But here's the deal. This shit's nasty, and I really hate Fireball, but I would take that any day over this. It has like
because this is like more bourbon than Fireball ever will be.
No, it has like almost like a tequila flavor to it or some shit. I don't know. It's weird.
Either to kill you or it's gonna kill you.
Well, Fireball has a lot of sugar in it too, hey? Like it's super, super sugary.
I don't know, that black cherry had like something like 150 carbs per ounce.
Yes. So
all
crazy.
sugar.
So it's like Coke, it's like a can of Coke concentrated times 2.
Yeah, someone just poured the bag out like straight up.
I'm sorry. Next week we'll be drinking water, all right?
No. Poor Bob.
Russian water, also known as vodka.
Zero fucking carbs. There you go.
Well, I'm glad that this one doesn't taste as nice as the apple because you got really drunk really fast last week and just disappeared on us super early. So
You got wings.
you had wings, yeah. That's what you were saying. Like, I got wings, and then you were gone. I was like, it's true, it's true.
That was before. That was the Red Stag, man. That shit does give you wings. And you'll crash the fuck out like you're drinking Red Bull too. So I don't know. But the apple is pretty good.
Awesome.
Apple's really good. This fire, I don't know. It's not doing it for me.
Not the business.
Not the business.
Jim Beam, Kentucky Fire, not endorsed by Darth Bob.
Yeah, we
That's
should have
right.
a list of endorsements. A list of booze
Thumbs
endorsements.
down.
Yeah. All right.
This is one we don't want to stay on target with.
Teals, it's time for the weather.
All right, you guys ready to take a shot?
Oh boy. Okay. Hold on.
This weather is brought to you by Jim Beam to Kentucky Fire. Fuck you, Jim Beam.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that weather, eh?
Apparently the whole panel drowned on that shot. All right.
Let's say we got a...
Is that
tornado coming.
supposed to be a vagine? It's not supposed to be a penis this week.
Oh, it's peen.
Is it a penis?
Yeah.
I thought the inflow was like.
You could go either way with it. You could go either way with it. It's definitely phallic looking in any way.
It is.
Speaking of phallic, though.
Speaking of phallic, our new and I hope here to stay
second weekend
segment, yes, second in the series. Welcome, Mildly Penis. Oops, no, that's not right.
It's our new segment where we find things that are just out in nature, just hanging out, that aren't weather related, that might just look like a penis. Enter in said cashew. Did not want to go in my mouth.
Really?
I got two nuts instead of one, with a little add-on.
But you're
Why is it so
California boy.
salty?
It's salted and roasted.
He's from California, man. It's called surfing in the ocean.
I mean, it's California, the home of the saltiest people on earth. I swear to God. Thank God I don't live in SoCal. Be even worse.
What the hell is that video? What testicle face? Who is that?
This one?
The Balchinian?
Oh boy. Is that an homage to how many penis-shaped species there are in Star Wars? Because it's certainly, there are a lot of them. We did that on my birthday. It's mesmerizing. I have to take it off or you guys are not going to be able to focus. Okay. Now, are we doing anything else? It's hard for me to do more than one thing at a time, so where we're at. We got the booze, we got the weather, we got the mildly penis. Oh, baby, we're on our game name of the week. It's a good one, brought to you by Revan's Rampage, a lovely little sister guild to the Wolf Pack that I actually have Teals' alt in right now. I've been in there for a couple of weeks. Yeah, Dave T, thank you. Harry Paratestes, game name of the week. And I believe that's a picture of Dave, so if you want a great guild to join, you can contact that hairy bear of a man.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, so now what? This is hard, Teals. It's hard to do all these things at once.
I'm just kicking back, eating
I
beans.
know, right?
You know.
Living the T-Money life, man. It's hard to be a DJ. You don't get to dance. You don't get to party. All right. So let's go down our list. I'm really excited about tonight's show. Can I get a timestamp from someone so I can tell people when this actually starts?
10:49 p.m.
Yeah, write it down somewhere, sweetheart. So the first thing that we're going to talk about a few things tonight.
You know you can look at OBS from the bottom right corner, right?
Oh, that's a good idea. But maybe, can you do that since you guys are just sitting around doing nothing and I'm trying to do the thing and it's really hard? Please.
Do the thing with your thing and the thing while doing the thing.
Yeah, it's not easy. So these are a few tips that we've kind of, like there's a lot of people doing tons of theory crafting right now and working out, how to win territory wars. It's one of these times in the game that it's a little bit frustrating because we're being, encouraged to panic farm all these toons, but it's a really exciting time as well because there's so much theory crafting going on, and there's just YouTube channels that are like little and blowing up because they're finding all of these great little team combinations that are working well. So what I'm hoping,
Skelly Trick's got like 1,000 subscribers in 2 weeks. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. He was the first guy to solo the raid with Hermit Yoda. And he did it the same week as Sir Gorgeous did with Wampa and Vader, which I'm sure that's coming down the pipe. That's going to be our standard CLS team for Rancor is. We're just going to pop in Vader, Wampa, I don't know who else, and just hit auto and have to say, please don't post for 10 minutes or whatever. Don't post your solos.
Oh God, hat in 10 minutes.
I don't know. I guess it's gotta be. I mean, maybe they'll put it in 8 times for us or something.
Yeah, I mean, still 8, 10 to 15 minutes. It's like get in, get your team in and hit auto, and then when it finishes, it finishes.
Yeah. Well, people are doing P1 so quick now. Like we had every week we have this big roar and fuss, and I'm like who preloaded? I didn't preload. I'm just using Dacha, and so there's all these really super fast teams now that can take down the Rancor in 4 minutes, that can take down P1 in 2 minutes, that people are putting in. So I don't know, it's a really exciting time for the game. Anyway, so we're going to talk about a few things tonight that we think are really cornerstone to our guilds, and we hope that you find useful too. You can bring home to your guilds and be better at your next Terry War. All right, where should we start? Good old Maurice, how are you feeling? you have to leave a little early tonight, but you want to do your stuff first, or do you want to just go through the list?
Why don't we just go through the list?
All right, let's go through the list.
I'll give a 50-second warning before I leave.
Okay. That's more than Bob does, so thank you. Thank you for that. So I created, we went up against this guild this week. What's their name, Teals? The Asian guy, the Korean guys?
Oh, NCS Black.
And NCS or NSC?
Or NSC?
NSC. I think NSC Black. So, and we always learn something from going up against a great guild, and these guys just had these pristine teams. Their mods were just, they were really perfect in a lot of ways. Like we had been talking about remodding our teams, and we did remod our teams, but these guys had obviously been doing that for a couple of weeks before us, and it was really, really hard. We were like 1 or 2 teams behind them. They won, but it was very challenging because of their mods. But you can't make all of your teams fast, so I'm going to make this into an infographic, but I wanted to give folks a little breakdown on a post that I made for our guild this week. That is the 10 key tunes that will, that you can pull your speed onto, that will leverage your teams. So the first, and let's just go around, we all know how to talk about each of these ones. So the first is BB-8. Who wants to take BB-8 and talk about why he's so important to have speed on?
You need speed on BB-8 for the raids. The quicker he goes, the quicker he builds up Illuminated Destiny. So whatever team you run him on, the faster he is, the better. You want to have him take as many turns as possible, so he gives all the buffs and the turn meter to your whole team. The faster the better. There's no ideal speed for him. It's as fast as possible. He's arguably, if you have Jedi Training Ray, he should be the fastest character probably in your entire roster. If you're running some of these raid comps, with the Akbar lead, like we just talked about, the guy that sold the raid, he has BB-8 in his team, super fast, under Akbar lead. Every time BB-8 does his little move to give the poop emoji, another rebel attacks. So there's lots of the more he goes, the better. Sorry, I got way too long-winded on that.
No, that's awesome. And I think a little trick that I use with BB-8 is also I have Chopper on the team as well as R2, so he's getting those speed bonuses for other tunes. So I can bring his speed down a little bit, but it's really like I have, I don't know, maybe like 80 speed on him or something like that. But with those other tunes, he's getting another, help me out guys, it's like 8% and 8%.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
every droid gets 8% turn meter to start the match.
Yeah, so he's essentially he's right around 300 speed when he's starting the match. So there's really, Vader might be going before a BB-8 now if you're going up against 5 rebels, but really there's not a lot of tunes who can compete with that. So it's and then the rest of your team can be Jedi Ray. Every time BB-8 gives somebody his little buff, Ray gets turn meter, so you can bring her speed down. So it's all about kind of maximizing. We only have so many speedy mods. Folks like good old Maurice, who've been smartly farming mods since day one, they have a little bit more leeway with their roster, but there's only so many nice speed sets that I have. So this is a way to kind of spread them around. Next one is Mr. R2. Most of us are familiar with that guy. Basically, I'll do this one just because it's super simple. R2, we want him to go first and stealth our team. Simple. Give foresight to somebody. If he's on a Ray team, we want him to go pretty quick after BB-8. And it's basically he acts as essentially a taunter. He's driving the damage onto one person even if that taunt isn't up, and so he's got a great base speed and he can go first. And that's with all of these tunes on this list. They have a really high base speed that helps them leverage their ability. If R2 is 20, 30 speed slower than he is, his base speed, you know, we would have to probably use him in a different way than we do. Next is Sith Assassin. Who's a Sithy person here? More than me. Anybody? Darth B, do you have Sith Assassin?
Well, Sith Assassin, I mean, the faster you make him, the faster the rest of your Sith can go. Because Sith Assassin... What?
Her.
I think the assassin in this game has tits.
She's like, is she the only? Yeah, she's the only Sith with tits. Let's call her a her, please, and thank you. Sorry, I know.
Sith Assassin, you want it to go fast. Like, you want it to go, that character go as fast as possible, because as soon as it goes, it generates, you know, ghost stealth. It generates turn meter for the rest of the Sith. So basically, you just stack your Sith Assassin with speed, and it gives everybody else speed. There's a lot of characters on this list like that. If they go first, they generate turn meter for the other characters in your team. So you can kind of, you don't have to have a full team of super stacked speed, as long as you have one really speedy character. I guess that's the point of this list, yeah?
Absolutely. And I think I'm just looking down the list, except for R2 and two others, they're all either feeding their team turn meter or they're removing turn meter from the other team. So they're all turn meter manipulators. Yeah, and as we know, Sith Assassin under Maul, she gets that 20% turn meter boost with his Zeta leadership, and so she gets that 20% plus her speed. And again, you can play around with her if you're running her under Maul. You can bring her speed down a little bit. You just kind of have to think about the teams that are going to be fighting her. Fighting your, say, your Maul team, the team that's going to be fighting your Maul team, what's the maximum speed that they're going to have? So that,
assume all of it.
And then you want to be one tick of speed higher than them, right? So you don't need to have 120 speed on your Sith Assassin if she's also getting 20% from Maul, because yeah, that's going to make a great team, but you need to dole out your speed mods in more of a budgeted fashion. You with me, folks? How do you spell assassin? Anybody know?
Ass in.
Ass
Oh
in.
yeah, I'll take the second ass, please.
I told you, she's a chick. Assassin. All right. One of our favorites. Break it down for us, Teals. Poe.
Poe's just awesome. He's already got that base fast speed. And then you hit this magic taunt button, and it goes and takes out a whole bunch of takes out down a whole bunch of turn meter, and you pair that with Finn, it makes even more exposes, and it's amazing. But resistance bravado, taunt 2 turns, 25% turn meter from each enemy, and then a chance to expose it for 2 turns. Also inflicts buff immunity on the primary target, which is awesome for throwing on like a GK if you're playing a GK Xeris and wanting to get that taunt prevented, or at least delayed. That way you can start poking around and starting that exposed train, the infamous exposed train, as you can work your way around and keep that taunt from getting your team wasted, because I don't know what you guys run, but we run pretty much old school basic resistance. Your Finn, Poe, Trooper, Pilot, and Scavenger Ray, or I'm using Scavenger Ray in a different team. I'll throw in Holdo. Just put her in there. She's gear 8, 85, whoop-de-doo. And it works. I'll take out any GK Xeris all day. It's great. But Poe, pretty much get him up to, I think, what's our sweet number? Like 245, 250?
250. I always have mine at about 255
sure.
for offense.
Sure.
So if you're going up against the Wolfpack, you got to have your tunes faster than 255.
Exactly. Otherwise, we win.
Otherwise, we win. And I mean, I think it's safe to say, I think everybody's figured it out by now that you like Zeta Finn is very, very common. You know, it's a lot of people. A lot of people's first 3 Zetas. One of them is going to be Zeta Finn. I think within our guild, gosh, Teals, is there anyone who doesn't have them? Like, we're definitely upwards of 40 folks. And
yeah, there's a couple left.
And you really you have to, on territory wars, you have to protect your regions from resistance. If you see a region that's just being like, you know, just sucked up and gone in a matter of 10 minutes, it's probably resistance. They're kind of like, you know, I want to say the cockroaches of territory wars, but they will come in and feed on you if you're easy prey. So you have to really protect your teams against that. You know, you can't go with resistance against teams that counter. They're very squishy. It's all about turn meter manipulation. It's all about those exposes. So no counters, multiple taunters. Darth Nihilus is a pain in the ass. You know, there's lots of ways to get around it, but I think our first few territory wars, we were putting in good old Xeris and GK, and you know, and you just can't do that anymore. It's getting too complex. Our next one is Colonel Stark. Does anyone else have a problem with the way Colonel is spelled?
Colonel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got used to it.
I think it's because I found out in my like late 30s that that's how you spell it.
Well,
I would love to see you refer to Colonel Sanders in an essay in your young years, in your teenage years.
Oh,
K-R-N-E-L, Colonel Sanders.
No, Kernel. Like I saw that word, and this is quite embarrassing because I'm a communications professional, but you know, I saw that word multiple times, and I'm like, what is that word? Colonial. That's what I said. I was like, it's colonial, but luckily I never outed myself to anyone except for you guys. So Colonel Stark, beautiful base speed of 155, and the essential piece of your Imperial Troopers so good. The essential part of your Imperial Troopers is that they need buffs to go. So I'm just gonna read it here because I've gone wrong before. For oh no, this is Stark. I think Veers' unique is that every buff gives them 10% turn meter. So Colonel Stark, right off the bat, if you can get him super fast, he's going to give his scannel wavelengths, which is the one where he puts the binoculars up to his eyes, and everybody gets critical chance up and critical damage up if you have the Omega on it.
Which you should.
I just put it on today, actually. I didn't have it before. I was like, oh.
That is if you put any Omegas on, that's the required one to do. Critical damage up. Oh my god.
I was poking around in there, and I was like, oh, what's this Omega? I don't have him. I was like, oh, I should probably.
Snowtrooper AoEs for 30k. What?
Yeah.
And he does it again, and then he does it again.
So that's the mechanics of the imps. Is you want Stark to go first to give the critical chance up, and then I have Veers going next, and he also gives a buff on his AoE. Just let me double check it here. I'm completely lying. No, but I do have him going second with his AoE, and his AoE and assists with the hopes that he kills a toon, and then they get turn meter from that. And then yeah, so every buff they get, so when Shore Trooper does his taunt and his critical hit immunity, everybody gets 10% turn meter. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, 10% turn meter whenever they give a buff. That's Stark. And
well, in territory battles, I mean, if you really, really want to deck him out, you can make him super fast, and he can go twice for the team even goes, you know? Because he drops the binocular move, and then he'll give himself, 5% turn meter for each Empire ally, and then all the rebels across the board. He gets like 50 to 60% turn meter instantly. and then can go again, drop the AOE stagger. Then Beers comes in, AOE ability blocks, and sucks all their turn meter down, and the enemy will never go again. Like the rest of all 4 waves, you'll have full turn meter every wave. The enemy will never go. Like you can beat a whole phase, P1 through P4 probably, without the enemy ever taking a turn. It's pretty incredible.
I figured out the imp mission this time. The first time I did it, I was a little bit of a Imperial Trooper noob, and this time I really figured it out. You're balancing between the buffs and killing a toon. So you just want to have 1 toon die every time that snow trooper does this AOE, and then it's just done. Like you just don't go. Like it's just this massive turn meter increase, and yeah, there's such a neat
they go on their own crazy train, just like the Resistance.
Exactly. Yeah, they have that same feeling.
Going off the rails on the imp train, yo.
All right. Next we have Thrawn. He wants to take my blue god of godliness.
Well, the faster he goes, offensively, if you use them on offense, you can just swap turn meter with somebody else.
And whoever needs to go first, go first.
Yeah, you can pick any character. If you're Thrawn as the fastest person on the battlefield, you can pick any character in your entire roster, and they'll go next. If you just feed them that turn meter with Thrawn. Back in the day, it was you could use it with Vader, but you don't need it anymore with Vader. But you can use it with Vader. You can use it with Palpatine. You can have Thrawn go first, feed the turn meter to Palpatine, shocks the whole team instantly. First move.
Feed the turn meter to Shore Trooper.
Rex, that was a good one. When I was running Rex's lead, Vestera, one of our officers, was like, I've got Rex to, I don't know, whatever, like 240 speed, and Vestera was like, no, like your Thrawn should be going first. I'm like, no, like Rex needs to go first. He's like, no, if Thrawn goes first, it's just like Rex is going first because he gives the turn meter to Rex and then Rex can go, and because Thrawn has the higher base speed, then it's just much easier to get him faster. So...
Ooh, and that's a way to really shut down these new Sith teams, like just instantly, because they don't really have a dispel.
Nope.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you could just get your Thrawn to go, because that Sith team, with the exception of you basically need to have your Thrawn faster than Vader, and you beat the team easy. Like you have Thrawn go first, give it to Rex. Rex does tenacity up, or any tenacity up character, even Yoda, Rex, Shrewd, whoever you want, just spams tenacity up, and then Vader's dots don't drop. He doesn't get any turn meter. He doesn't throw his little saber. Nobody can debuff, so they're not getting any turn meter from Palpatine's Zeta. You basically just completely neutralize the Zeta on Palpatine, the opposing Palpatine.
Yeah, if you have the mods to do it, so Vader is 121 base speed, Thrawn is 150 base speed, and then if Vader's on a full Empire team, he's getting an extra 40, so that's going to put him as the kind of, I don't know, his base speed is going to essentially be 161. So you just have to be able to get that 11 extra speed and not have any rebels on your team to give him the extra speed, right? But that's
pretty much.
That's going to be a big thing in the next territory wars. Is, even if you don't have the Zetas, we now have a Vader who is going to look at a team of CLS, Han, Chase, and like ATF, and be like, awesome, there's an extra 40 speed for me, plus my 40, like the 40 speed from my buddies, or like even better, like Ezra, so that's 48 speed plus 4 is getting an extra 88 speed. Like you're gonna have to totally, like, I don't know, like maybe not this one because not everyone's gonna have that team done, but surely the next territory wars after this, it's gonna change the way that, like, CLS might have to come off of defense because you now have 50 Empire teams just mowing through them. What's the point?
Yeah, but I mean, if you think about it, every team's like that now. Every team's going to have a counter, and especially when you start getting up to the higher GPs, everybody's going to have the counter for everything. And we were talking prior to the stream about them adding additional battles or additional defensive teams needed for the higher tiers. because you're going to need it. I mean, you start getting to the really, really, top 100, top 200 guilds in the game. Everyone's going to have resistance, so they got the GK. Everyone's going to have Darth Vader, so CLS is out. Everyone's going to have Nightsister, so Rey is out. Everybody's going to have, a counter for everything. It's just
at the higher GP guilds, but I mean, we're 135, and we don't have 35 Nightsister teams to take out 35 Rey teams. Like they're just, I get with the bigger, and what Good Old Maurice is referring to is I didn't know this, I just read it, was that guilds above, I guess it's 150 million GP, they're raising the cap on the number of defensive teams that go in there, and we were talking about it being likely that they do that for guilds below that as well. Why do you think that's likely, Maurice? Or Teals? Because you said you think that's likely that they would do it for lower guilds, which is really stressful to me.
I don't think they're going to do it for lower guilds.
I do.
Why is that?
Maybe the above 140 tier, because I think any lower, there's going to be a lot of struggle.
Well, but I mean, we're right on the verge of 140, and maybe we have more spread GP because we have a bunch of really super keen players at around 2.2, 2.3 million. But it's hard for those guys to put, they have as many gold toons as they do, a 2.9 or a 3.0 player, but once they put those on, they don't have that depth of roster of G10 and 11 toons to go in there and take down teams on offense. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's a hard time for us in the game. It's a hard thing.
So yeah, we're on this side. When they said upper tier, I was thinking they were meaning top tier. That was my thought on it. Because essentially, once you hit that like 150, 160k, your effective usable GP is becoming more and more redundant. Because it's like, okay, well, we have 2 million GP in Gear 12 Mobbing Forces. We have 2 million GP in Cups. It's like, it starts becoming wasted versus practical.
What do you mean by that?
Well, because, like, consider meta and usable teams. Your guild's total meta and usable team GP versus teams and toons that are more useless. There's going to be, 20 million worth of just whatever toons in those upper guild rosters. You look at TI, they're at 180, but I bet you 160 of it is actually worthiness toons. 20 million of it is just maxed out crap.
Jesus Christ. Team Instinct's at 180 million now?
Last I checked, yeah.
Oh my god.
I have a confession to make. I wanted to seriously make fun of you for saying meta right there, but then I realized that I might be saying it wrong in meta.
Yeah, whatever.
I think I'm saying it wrong because beta is beta. Beta isn't beta. You know? I'm in the alliance.
Beta.
So true. I might be wrong. So
English, American English is a fucked up language.
It's meta. That's the Canadian way of saying meta. Meta.
I have Google says it's meta. Meta.
Yeah.
Meta. Whew.
I'm in the beta guild. That sounds
what are you betting on, Maurice?
All right. Excuse me. I'm done. I'm done disrupting the stream. Carry on.
So that was a great little sidebar, though. There's so much interesting stuff going on with the game right now. Keeping on with our speed tunes, we have 4 left. The next one, and I'm not gonna take anyone know Hermit Yoda better than I know Hermit Yoda? Let me ask that, because I run him on defense, but I don't know him super well.
Mine's Gear 7 5-star, so don't ask me.
Okay,
I mean, there's really, it's not too complex. Just And I'm not very experienced with him either, you know, but just the faster he goes, the quicker he heals, and the quicker he's giving out his little master's training, you know, and it's just like much like BB-8, he just needs the faster the better. He just for no other purpose of just to give the benefit to the rest of the team. Like, you know, it's not like he does anything to speed up turn meter, I don't think.
No, he feeds Jedi turn meter, but nobody else. So it's you're right. It's really it's the healing. It's the getting the master's training on them so that they're getting you know, accuracy,
the attacks from master's
offense.
training. The more often he can go, the more master's training that he can give, and then the more that he can send to attack.
Yeah.
Correct. And also we talked about BB-8 in the raid, and Hermit Yoda's the same way. You know, when he just went like his basic attack. His basic move is not a attack, so every time he heals the team under an Akbar lead on like in a raid environment, another rebel is going to go. So that's why you got to get Akbar, you got Hermit Yoda, you got BB-8, then you know X CLS and whoever else you want to use. You know,
exactly, and I think that's why he's on this list. That's one of my defensive teams. It's funny having teams that. I don't know if everybody else does this. I love my Nightsisters in Arena. I use Rey sometimes. I switch it up with Rey if I'm fighting. Who can I beat with Nightsisters? This Admiral Akbar team, actually. I have trouble beating with Nightsisters because Hermit Yoda is so fast. It's Admiral Akbar, Hermit Yoda, General Kenobi, Han, and CLS. And Hermit Yoda is so fast that he's healing and healing and healing and healing. And when I get Plague off, it's not like it's his special and you can wait for the special to happen. It's his basic, and so he's just going and he's healing, and so it's harder to take toons out. So I switch in Rey to beat this one team. But
you target Hoda and you say no. And
well, you guys were knocking the GK Barris comp earlier, but have you guys faced a guild that gives you 25 GK Barris and dual Yodas?
No, that's what this guild that we went up against. Yeah, it's badass.
That team, your resistance cannot beat that team
No,
because Yoda goes and drops nasty up on everybody before Poe goes. So you got to think of something else, you know. Like, and if they got Hermit Yoda in there, especially if he's Zeta, just giving foresight to the whole team, you know, and giving them turn meter, giving them foresight, giving them protection regen. It's super difficult. With the resistance team, it's almost. I mean, the resistance aren't even really a counter for that team. It's frustrating. We got a nice dose of that. We got a Brood Awakening last TW with that team. They just stacked 25 of them in a zone, and you know all of us are saving resistance, and about 3 or 4 of us probably went in before like, oh shit, guys, don't use your resistance in this territory. It's no good, you know.
Well, I don't. It's not Hermit Yoda that gives foresight and tenacity up. That's regular old Yoda.
No. Hermit Yoda gives foresight too. With the Zeta, he gives all Jedi's foresight.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
but he's
like
even badass on just a regular team because he gives tenacity up, right? He gives plus 25% tenacity when they've got the master's training. And then between Barris cleansing the debuff off the lowest health toon and Hermit Yoda healing everyone and Barris healing everyone, that's a solid defensive zone. But I personally still feel that splitting up your GK and Barris and enhancing other teams with them is the smarter play. But if you're in a like maybe a smaller guild and you guys are struggling to kind of come up with teams, even without Hermit Yoda, you know, you can run GK Barris, put as much speed as you can. Try to get your Hermit Yoda or your Yoda, put 100 secondary speed on him. He'll go faster than Poe, and then whoever else you got, Anakin even works okay. Whoever you got Jedi wise, that's not a terrible defensive team. It's not the best, but because Poe's hard to get above. You got to be a resistance lever to get your Poe above 260, right? And you can get regular.
I'm gonna have to steal from
250.
BB-8 if I'm gonna get him that high.
Look, I'm looking up. It's been so long since and Grandmaster Yoda has a 7-speed advantage over Poe.
Yeah,
he's 157 base speed. So,
and what was this? Yeah, he's and you can't hit him either, right? Like you can't land foresight on him when he's stealthed. You just can't get at him. So he's one less toon to have foresight on. So you're essentially going from, you know, a pool of 5 toons that you can put foresight on to a pool of 4 toons that you can put foresight on. And one of the techniques that I use when I'm working my resistance is I never kill anybody. Like you don't want to kill any toons when you're like any enemies. You want to keep them all there because, you know, if you have a 50% chance of landing an expose with Poe, well, if you have 5 toons, then odds are 2 or 3 of them are going to be exposed. If you have 1 toon, well, odds are that you're, you know, it's a coin toss whether or not you're going to land expose on that toon. And Hermit Yoda just takes that out of the equation, so you're automatically at a disadvantage because you can't get at him.
I'd like to read this out of the chat, if I may.
Yeah.
Grandmaster Wixel met. I can't even say it now. Meta
is he already challenging his senior officers?
Now I'm scared to say it. Meta isn't an acronym. It's a Greek prefix meaning beyond or about. Thank you, Grandmaster Wixel. The more you know. Little lesson.
He's just challenging his senior officers.
Do we have senior officers now?
I don't know.
Teals is Wolfpack's first senior officer as of right now.
Teals is trying to induce a level of hierarchy within the guild. Yeah. Maybe Wixel, Grandmaster Wixel, as a case, maybe we can. I think we should do an all nerd, all spreadsheet Sunday afternoon one day where we have so many beautiful spreadsheets that I love to share with people. They're not my creations. They're other like genius minds creations, but they help us so much. I do not know how guilds function without them. And Wixel's created many of them.
All of it.
Not all of them, but many of them.
He's the man with those spreadsheets.
Oh, you wanted a number earlier. We had 43 fins.
43 fins. All right. Zeta fin. All right. On to the next one. Foo! So we've been struggling with a couple of names. So for one, everyone listening right now has to use the phrase prod up as much as possible. Teals coined that a few streams back, and we just laughed at him and laughed at him.
It's a thing. Prod up. Protection up. Prod up.
But we're making
I even
it a
had a
thing.
meme made for me like within an hour.
Prod up, bitch. Oh, man, look at that prod up. There's prod up. Man, that Wampa, he got prod up. Sorry. Anyway, I'm having a lot of trouble. I can only go off track so much before Bob's like, okay, sister, come on back.
Yeah.
So, Foo, we had our beautiful Strumback. Is that Strumback? I was having a lot of trouble. Strumbach. I was having some trouble with the R and the. I wanted to call him. Not that. Strumbach, our first order nerd, fanboy. It's awesome, and he was saying "foo" for first order officer, like "foo," and I just was not okay with that. And then I realized that it could be like a Mr. T, like "foo." So that's what you're all saying now. You're saying prod up.
It's foo.
And foo. So foo is
I've been
another.
saying foo for forever.
Foo. Oh yeah, I don't know. Now I'm in the loop. Teals, thanks for bringing me in there before.
I love foo.
Foo. So,
not like pho though. Pho is delicious, and foo is almost as cool as pho.
How's your first order? You want to talk about foo?
Talk about foo.
Why is food
awesome.
important to have speed on them?
Hey, before we do anything else, we need to take a shot.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Boo short.
Oh, yeah. Oh, show.
We'll just call this medicine, right?
Bob is a really good guy because Bob doesn't pretend to leave. He could do that at any point. He could pretend to leave, and then we would have to drink our drinks, but he doesn't do that. Foo. Who's going to do Foo? Let's get this show going. Foo.
I'm talking about Foo.
Foo.
What do you want to talk about Foo?
Big. Oh. Okay.
Foo. He wears a nice uniform. He's got a massive underbite. He gets turd meter. And
does he have a master?
Yeah, look in the game. He looks like a goddamn dinosaur. Look at him.
So Foo in a 10-second description. You want him to
First
go first?
Orthodontist.
You want him to go first? That way you can give marching orders to whoever you need to go first. And his marching orders also dispels. He's got the tenacity down, pinning shot, so you can shoot pinning shot more often and reduce cooldowns of first order. Yippee-ki-yay.
Yeah, he's like a Thrawn without a fracture, basically. Right? There's some turn meter manipulation happening there.
Well, Thrawn doesn't give cooldown reduction either, though, to your own team. That's pretty bitchin'.
Oh, I didn't actually know that. He gives full cooldown reduction.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, when he does his turn meter reduction shot, pinning shot, everybody gets 50% turn meter, and then all first order allied have their cooldown reduced by 1. So between feeding marching orders and pinning shot, he's what makes first order goes fast. That and cruise lead.
Which is also a toon on our list. And Death Trooper from our guild, who's this lovely dude who's...
Oh, shit! Foo is actually on the list. I thought we were just getting sidetracked. Okay. Now I'm following. Okay.
Thank you for joining us, good old boys. We're happy to have you here.
I just had an out loud epiphany. I apologize. Okay.
Oh, shit! I'm stupid! Okay.
Woo! Alright.
Sorry. I'm feeling a little violent right now. I'm excited. I'm excited about my MP. I love my MP.
Be right back. I'm going to go yell at my kid.
Okay.
Excellent news.
So he does have an underbite. First order officer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor fella.
He does. That's something I do when I'm like pissed off. That's how I look when I'm pissed off. Pretty much exactly like that. I even put a hat on.
Yeah. The first order officer totally looks like a cassette tape guy, doesn't he?
A what?
A cassette tape guy? No?
What's a cassette tape guy?
Holy shit, a cassette tape. He used to come in the cars.
I know what a fucking cassette tape is, but what's a cassette tape guy? Come on. Come on. You can't think
a guy that carries a cassette tape Walkman with him everywhere he goes. No?
Oh, cool. This is just so David or Harry Tasker just asked, what's this list?
This is the first time I'm ever hearing about this. There's actually people that walk around with Walkmans.
Yeah,
Where do you get a Walkman at? Where do you get a Walkman at?
The flea market.
Walmart.
All right.
E?
First order officer looks like a space Nazi. That's because he is one, Darth Hideous, you fucking stupid fuck. Jesus Christ. What a moron. He knows I love him. I can say that. Right? Please? All right.
You could say it even if you hated him. This is our chat.
This is our chat. No. Oh, fuck off the rails.
No
again.
musicals. No musicals.
I think Nightsister Acolyte would star great in a musical. What do you think?
Yeah.
That was a terrible attempt at a transition.
She's very. All the Nightsisters are very graceful.
Well, she's the next one on the list.
She is the next one on the list. Yes. And she's going to segue into some of our videos that I'm going to get queued up. So, good old Maurice, take us down the road of Acolyte and tell us about your arena team, because I'm very curious about you taking Daka out and putting back in Acolyte.
Acolyte, you want Acolyte to go fast because the quicker she goes stealth, and she does massive amounts of damage. So you want her to go quickly. Basically, so she's just you can't get to her. Yeah. So I mean that's really all she is just a pure damage character. Just speed.
What's your current speed on her right now?
Oh god, I think when I ran her, I think I had 107 speed on her.
Oh, that's shitty.
What?
Disappointing. 107 speed on her?
107, that's great.
Secondary, like additional speed, so it's like 2. I think it's 1. Look at her at her face. I think it's 147.
Yeah, they put her in the 200s.
Yeah. No, I got 83 on her now. Yeah. 328. I demonitored her for TV for that. But yeah, I even put 100 secondary speed on her. She goes 245-ish. Yeah.
And you really should acolyte even for if you're just bringing your team for a normal Nightsister team, if you're not making a little team or shit in 2 seconds here, you need to have at least 2 laws of especially if you're going against Ray. If you're not going against Ray, then you need a bit of protection, offense, or something like that. But if you're going against Ray, only your destiny goes off, or 2 items, and then burn it. It's just not.
You go against Bayonet Han and he hits you with his banter.
Yeah. That's it.
And then R2 comes in and sets fire.
I never go. The territory is like my goal. Always to take down. I'll take the fastest.
He managed to bring down the game sound on the... I told you how to do this. There we go.
How do you hear that? That's not even transitioned yet. Weird. Okay.
People are immediately complaining in chat.
Interesting. The sound comes through before I put the transition on. Sorry about that, guys. And also, stop complaining, you whiny little bastards. People like it when I talk down to them and demean them. It's our thing.
Who told you that?
Me. All right,
So
the last one, and this is the one that's from
Yeah, but no, but you asked me to talk about Acolyte, and then I told you about my Acolyte, and you're like, damn, she sucks.
Well, I honestly, good old Maurice, I learn a ton from you. I like leech off your knowledge all the time. I'm surprised that your Acolyte is so slow. For me, I boosted her speed up to probably about that, but your mods are a lot better than mine. So I mean, maybe it's just kind of balancing teams, but I have her at about, when I go into Territory Wars, I have her at about like 250, something like that. 255 maybe. Just so she's going enough, because she needs to go enough to hurt the other team, and she also needs to go enough so that she heals herself, because she's healing off every critical hit. You guys there?
Yep.
Yep.
So that was honestly, it was surprising to me. So but it's good, because that's what I have her at.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And there's a balance, there's a balance for toons. Like, these are toons that if you speed them up, they're going to be really great for you on defense, but there's lots of little tricks you can do that don't have to do with speed. Good old Maurice, you want to talk about your Han?
What, my raid Han?
Yeah.
With 0 secondary speed?
Yep.
And see, I don't know. I've got certain characters, Raid Han, Wedge, First Order TIE Pilots, Snow Trooper, characters like that I don't put any speed on. I just stack them. with just an absurd amount of offense, like 100 and 100 plus offense on all like secondaries, all 6 mods, offense, cross, offense, arrow, and they get like 1,200 additional physical damage. Like Han, for instance. If I'm facing like weaker teams, Han can one-shot characters like immediately, like right at the start of the match. Like a weaker Nightsister, maybe like a weaker First Order officer. Like you can just go in there and just completely knock the character out. And Wedge, Wedge doesn't need speed if he's just utilizing all the assists. You kind of put him on like an assist team. Just characters like that. Snow Trooper gets a bunch of turn meter from Veer Zeta. Just stuff like that. You don't have so much speed to go around. We're expected to field, I don't know, 47 teams now for TW in TB and this raid coming out. Like, you got to spread your mods around a little bit. I'm way too lazy to mod swap. I don't like doing that at all.
And that's where I started really thinking out of the box with mods when you were talking about your raid teams and having, if you have Admiral Akbar lead, then your team, like, odds are your team is going to be going and hitting on their basic vis-a-vis his leadership as much as they're going to be going just on their own almost. So having a raid Han who hits for an extra 50% damage is essentially him going 50% as fast as his base speed, right? And but he's hitting twice also. So.
Well, Akbar leads a perfect example why you can get by with, especially rebels, like a Wedge or like the really hard hitting rebels. You can get by without, like, even not Leia, but because they're going to just be called in and just basically they're going to get all their damage from assists, like, and they get plenty of it. I can't put 100 secondary speed on every character in my inventory, It's just basically the old philosophy of, like, RPG games, like min-maxing, basically, Taking some high base stats of certain characters and really just stacking it on there and making them that much better.
It's really a game of mods now. Like that fighting this last guild made me realize that, because they didn't put as much on defense as us at all, but their mods in a couple of regions were very strong, and ours could have been too. It's really a matter, like, for guild leaders out there, for officers out there, you need to look at your players' arena teams. You need to look at their mods on SWGOH.gg, sort them by speed, figure out, like, are they, do they have their mods in the place that they're supposed to be, or are they just completely messed up, or are they set up for raids, and really help people to help people to make their teams better in that way. Because if you remod, if everybody in your guild remods to make them to maximize the mods that they have for their team, you're just gonna kick butt in territory wars, compared to just, we've got the guild before this one. There was kind of this contrast. We went up against this guild that had, like, BB-8s with, like, no speed and, like, 30 speed and 40 speed, and they were a guild with, like, 6 million more GP than us, and we just, like, ate through them. It was just like,
that was the challenge. Meme war, yes. The meme war victims.
The meme war victims. Yeah. Lesson B: don't go up against T-Money for, like, dirty trash talk, because, baby, you're gonna lose. Yeah.
Why? Because you're gonna sing to them? That doesn't make it. What? Got me.
No, yeah. I'm very proud and also ashamed of my behavior in there, so let's not go into it. Okay, I think that's KRU. Sorry, the last tune is Crew, Kylo Ren unmasked. And again, it's really about looking at all your teams and making sure they're protected against resistance. None of your resistance teams should be on defense, obviously. Your OG resistance teams, and your fin leads should be on defense. They should all be on offense. But it's getting harder and harder to use them on offense because people are protecting their teams with them. But KRU, like a great way to protect First Order teams, and this is a tip from Death Trooper in our guild, is simply to make them faster than Poke and Go. So you need to make... I don't know if the AI is smart enough to swap turn meter with Kylo in lead, but you need to make Kylo faster than 250 speed, because people have to be thinking ahead and really planning ahead with their resistance to make them higher than 250. It's kind of the magic number, so you make them 255.
You put Crew to 220, his leader will put him at 250.
Say again?
If you put Crew at 220, his leader will put him at 250.
Pardon me. Yes, exactly.
But he pre-taunts. He's a pre-taunter.
Only
I guess
if
if
you
don't have
only
the
if you
Zeta
have
on
that
it.
Zeta.
If you don't have the Zeta on it.
Yeah. But even if he pre-taunts, you can, you just use your Poe, you get out your, you do a special, and he puts his buff immunity on him. And I shouldn't even talk about this because I don't even know. I just realized that during this stream, like I have a double Zeta is it a triple Zeta team? No, it's a double Zeta KRU lead team and a Rey team that are all Gear 11, Gear 12 characters, except for KRU, and I've never really played with them. Like I just built them and put the speed on them and stuck them in territory wars. It's weird. Hey, do you guys have teams like that?
I rarely play my First Order. It's similar.
Yeah, it's weird. Okay, are you ready, Tilsy? We're gonna do your Nute team. If you want to I want to just really go through and explain the leadership on the Nute team here. Here I'm just waiting for the video to end.
Start over.
And start over. How do I do that? Off and on again. No, that didn't do it. Okay, it's gonna go on a loop. So here we go. Spoiler alert. Victory! Teals, tell us about Nute. Tell us about his leadership, what this team is, what it does, how it works.
So Nute works when you can. The team you use them with is with Alkalite and Zombie. If you can separate your Nightsister teams, which I did try last Territory Wars to use a Mother Talzin lead with Talia and threw in some other random, and it worked just fine taking out Rey. So this still works. But Nute's lead gives all stealth allies 55 critical chance. So you're usually trying to run 45-50% with most of these stealth characters anyways, i.e. Alkalite, Leia, etc. And Leia also has critical chance up, so you're pretty much maxing out crit chance. So with that, they get 50% turn meter the first time they score a critical hit during the turn. Therefore, they're going stupid fast. You open up the fight. If you're going against a Han, pray to God he doesn't hit Alkalite first. This is why we were talking earlier, why we were putting some health onto Alkalite, just so she can survive that, Han hit plus R2 AoE. But once you get it going, you get Alkalite stealthed. Using just her basics, she will pretty much guaranteed never leave stealth. Zombie stays alive permanently, or revives permanently. Then you have Leia getting her stealth going. Obviously, she double and triple mollywops for tons of damage. And she's getting turn meter fed because she's going to be at 100% turn meter and having 2 to 3 tries each time hitting. And just, you can have any of the other... in that team, I'm using R2. R2 is now, unfortunately, with Rey. You can throw in Scavenger. You can throw in Dotha. You can throw in... what's the Geonosian Spy? Geonosian Spy works great, especially for heavy buff teams. It's excellent.
Wonderful.
So pretty much get Leia fast, get Acolyte fast, get them both stealth, and as long as you can get past that first wave, it's a guaranteed win unless they've got an AoE expose or heavy AoE damage. Using this versus your standard, CLS teams, they're dead every time. I can do it against Thraxus teams, Thrawn, Empire. I can do a bunch of different combos.
There's teams. Talk about the teams
Sith
you
Assassin
can't do
you can use also. That's true, but Sith Assassin is very much important in a Zal team. That's why I wouldn't normally recommend unless you don't have a Zal team.
Talk about the teams that you can't use it against, because I was banging my head against the wall trying to use this team against some.
Okay, first and obvious, never use it against Nightsisters. Asajj will make this a literal joke, and you will die in a terrible fire immediately. Pardon the excited child. Take very large caution against Chase. Chase loves to AoE dispel. That means everybody no longer becomes stealth, and that means bad news for you, because obviously once you're out of stealth, most of these toons die very quick. Take care. Otherwise, any other sort of heavy AoE teams, obviously you wouldn't take it against troopers. Take care against someone like Wigs, although Wedge does die very quickly, so it's sort of hit and miss. But any of those single targets, those that don't have heavy AoE damage or some sort of AoE non-target dispel, you get the initial stealth on, it's game over. You could literally go set auto to say you only had Acolyte and Zombie left, set auto, you're done. And with Nute's leadership staying through the end, it stays when he's dead. Thankfully, it's not like some leaders. It's over. You could literally just have them run through the rest of the team, and it's over.
And so, what we call these cheese teams, because we protect against these just like we protect against resistance on defense. So, you have to build your teams in mind. Again, what we do when we come up against a team in territory wars is we find out their name, and before we set any defense, we go and we check their SWGOH.GG roster. And the first thing I do is I go and look at the units that they have and how many Acolyte they have. And if they're stacked for Acolyte, we know that their guild leaders have been, charging them with creating these little cheese teams that will take down meta, like little tricky teams that'll take down the meta. And so you have to protect against. We just protect against it anyway, because you can't lose a team to like Nute Gunray.
I went against this team. It was like our second or third territory war, and I looked at it. Okay, it was like 109 million team. Like if it had a Zeta, it was there. Their gear was maxed. I'm like, let's give it a try, because I was using this team pre Jedi Training Ray to climb arena because it was fun, it was easy, it was almost a guaranteed win. So it worked out just fine.
Yeah, and that's a great tip for people too, is that if you're having trouble climbing in arena, this is a team that can climb, and you might need to fall, you might need to pay your 50 crystals to get back up, but really the nature of the beast is that you need to climb.
Don't leave it on defense.
Don't leave it on defense. Leave on defense. People are like, you have some sort of like mental disorder happening. They're like, what's that? And then B, they'll just kick you down fast. Yeah. All right. We have another Nute team. Good old Maurice, are you ready to talk about your Nute team?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
I feel like I should give you this a drum roll or something. I'm very excited about this team. Very excited about this team. It's just freaking weird. I love your weird
teams. It's not a very
teams.
feasible team. It's like It's
the disclaimer: don't farm this team.
Yeah, don't do that. But I just much like Teals, I'm trying to find the most effective way to split up my Nightsisters, and I'm using actually Nute, Acolyte, because I don't have R2 available. I like to use Leia on my Jyn Erso team for offense, so it doesn't leave me with much for this team. So I just use Nute Gunray lead. He explained the leader, and then I use Acolyte like he did, and then I use Nightsister Initiate, Geonosian Spy, and Sunfac. This team is awesome, especially versus like a Rey team. It can beat Rey, or you can't use against the CLS because the CLS teams now all include bays. So you can't really. It's tough for me to find a team that I can actually beat with it, a CLS team. But it's real good versus Rey. Geonosian Spy is an example of one of those characters I was talking about earlier. I just stack with offense. And the reason I use Sunfac is because when Sunfac counters, he does a debuff, right? The crit chance down, which feeds Geonosian Spy 70% turn meter. So he doesn't need the base speed. He just needs massive amounts of offense, and he can one-shot damn near any. I mean, he one-shot any character you face, pretty much.
Sorry,
especially if,
good on Maurice. Is this an like an old school video of your 88 lead?
Yeah, you said send me a Geonosian Spy video, so I sent you one from like 2 years ago.
Okay, but it's the same concept. 88 just puts a damage over time as his leader ability. Puts a damage over time on a critical hit. And so Spy is using that essentially like it's like a Vader lead or a Boba lead, but Spy like Boba hits on top of Foresight, right? He uses Foresight as a buff.
Even in this old ass video,
and he hits on top of buffs and debuffs.
No, they have to be buffed for him to pop. But if you're buffed, he takes them all.
One of you has to have a buff. It can't be all debuffs, but as long as one of you has a buff, it takes all of them and multiplies that by his base damage.
Well, I mean, this video isn't a Nute Gunray, but in the video right there, like Biggs, this is an old video. Like this is Gear 10, and just really basic mods, like nowhere near the mods I have now. I mean, he hit Biggs for 25,000 damage. He only had one buff on his head, so you start getting like a Rey team, right? And you get the Rey team, and you get them, and BB-8 starts spreading Foresight. Next thing you know, Rey has like 6 buffs on her head. And you swoop in and just pop her ass, like because Foresight's counted as a buff. Like you can't evade that attack, so it calculates the Foresight in with the rest of the damage too. It's included. It's a pretty good team. You're not going to beat a team. But what you're going to do is you're going to go in, you're going to take out the BB-8, and you can maybe take out like a Scavenger Rey or some other sort of, just some sort of other support character, and then go in and just clean them up with like your old school droids or like lesser clone, like just like cleanup teams you guys might have. But the reason you use Initiate is just basically she's a tank. She's just I don't have a taunting tank. I use my zombie with the other Nightsisters, but everybody else is stealth. So they have a choice to either hit Nightsister Initiate, who counters with a dot, or they have the choice to hit Sunfac, who counters with a Dispel, and is going to give Geonosian Spy turn meter. So like those are their options. Those are the only 2 characters they can hit, and they can come in one shot by Nute, I guess, if he's not stealth. Like Nute serves no purpose whatsoever except his leader ability. I don't think mine ever really goes. It just like dies.
What do you have your Nute at? What
I think it's like 9.
Nute does not have to live, yes. My Nute is similar.
And likewise, if you're... No, never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah, mine's...
I can't believe you're playing this video.
85 6-star Gear 8.
I love this video. This was the video before I ever knew you. This was like... I had this idea that Geonosian Spy was... like the bomb, and I was so convinced that I was going to create this amazing meta team, and the only video that I could find on the whole internet was this video of good old Maurice. He had a couple of them of Spy, and yeah, so that was the first time that I ever
I'll try to catch some of this footage in the next TW. I just get so I sit down at 2 TWs and I'll pop in and do a game real quick and pop back out. I always forget to record them.
It's scary though. I always feel like if I record it, I'm gonna jinx myself.
Oh no!
But I've been so shitty lately that it doesn't really matter anyway.
Oh, here's one right here. This is it. Oh.
I know.
I have a video of that?
No, I don't have a video of it.
Oh.
But
you're just sharing your screen.
I'm sharing that screenshot that you sent. So basically, you know how this works. It's the Nute leadership, and then it's tricky with Sunfac, right? Because Sunfac will dispel the other toon. Am I using that right? It's dispel, right?
Mm-hmm.
He'll knock the buffs off the other toon, but you want to keep the buffs off for spy. But every time that Sunfac scores a critical hit, he'll put a critical chance down on the other toon, and that counts as a debuff, and it gives spy 70% turn meter to go. So it fuels him. So you really have to have a Geonesian on one of these teams with spy for him to work. But essentially, he works just like Vader. He works just like Boba. But again, don't make this team. Don't gear these teams.
Yeah, everyone in the chat, somebody spoke 311 asked, should I farm spy too? No.
No, don't do it. Unless you're like above, and I'm like 2.5 million GP, unless you're above like 2.9, you know, or so, and you're like, oh yeah, I could, you know, put a couple of Carbantes on somebody and do, like, I have spy at 10 because
his ship's awful too.
He's shit awful. He is, but because there's so many buffs on Rey, you know, and Chirrut too. It works with Chirrut. When the Chirrut math came out, I was killing Chirrut with spy. I had spy on my team, and I was taking Chirrut down with spy, which is super badass.
But if he gets dispelled and he loses that stealth, he's probably the squishiest character in the game.
He does. But taking out key toons is really important, especially in territory wars. If you can go in, like if you can use spy to just take out Chirrut, the next team that you send in, it's a totally different game, right? You don't have to deal with like 10 heal over times with a CLS lead. Like it's just so much simpler. Can you talk about Initiate a little bit? Because I think she's cool. She might be one. I know that you dissuade me from doing this, but I might farm her in the next little while.
Initiate is probably the last Nightsister you should do, I think.
Even after Spirit.
It doesn't necessarily mean she's bad, because she's very average, I guess. But she has some stuff in her kit. Like in this picture here, like I don't have any speed in my acolyte. I dumped her full of defense, protection, and in crit chance. So she crits and she drops another dot. She does have a buff immunity. She does buff immunity on a single target buff immunity. It's just buff immunity, but it's nothing crazy. And then she does another move, which helps this team actually with acolytes and spy, who both really need their crit chance. Well, Spy gets to himself, but she also has another little secondary attack that she goes in, does some decent damage, not overwhelming, but, you know, decent, serviceable, and gives the whole team crit chance up. Like if you ever run Nightsisters in like a P4, you really want you're going to have to use Initiate because she's the only one that does a squad-wide buff on the Nightsisters. I think it's a 2, maybe even 3 turn crit chance up, so you can avoid that the airstrike on the P4 of the tank, and everybody can survive.
She's good for the tank.
Yeah, she's good for the tank.
I tried her out a couple weeks ago, just to try.
She's good for a budget build under a 1,000 lead. Like if you're trying to, you know, if you want to build, you know, the free to play Nightsister base, she's good for a 1,000 lead because in the event that she does actually die, which she probably is not going to, I mean she's going to be dropping dots everywhere. You know, she counters, drops a dot. If she dies, she gets revived, drops another dot. On her basic, she drops a dot, drops 2 dots. And, you know, they can't cleanse these the dots because of they're plagued. And you can't cleanse any debuffs when you're plagued. So that they're now plagued and they just have all these dots that have, I mean, they're just going to expire because they can't get rid of them. So she does do kind of damage that way.
Doesn't she have buff immunity as well?
Yeah, on one of her, she has 2 like special moves. And they're both like single target attacks. One of them does buff immunity, and one of them does crit chance up for your entire team.
I love Spy. I still have faith in Spy.
She does have a Zeta, but you really should. There are dozens of other Zetas.
Does she have a Zeta? What's her Zeta? Yeah.
It's see, I don't even know, and I love the Nightsisters. It's basically, I think it just gets her. I got it open right here. She's got extra offense when she's not. Here, I'm not even gonna. I'm just gonna read it.
Don't click it on accident.
Damn, she does. Oh, it's a big one too. It's not. It's like a sentence. If Nightsister initiates.
Counter chance. If she's got full health, she's got 100% counter chance. If she doesn't have full health, she has 100% offense. So.
And the Zeta basically gives her plus 30% counter chance and plus 50% offense.
Yeah, it's not a very good Zeta.
It's not a good Zeta. This is a POW category Zeta. This is category
it's better than POW. I don't know, maybe not.
Better than POW.
It's just maybe not.
Oh, man. All right. We're clipping along. I hope people enjoy the content on here because I sure freaking learn a ton from you guys. So thank you all.
But again, this team is not going to. You should never run this team in arena. This is not an arena team. You can get as many banners in TW as you commit your time to. If you have time to go in there and pick teams apart with teams like this, if your guild's kind of struggling to get through the wall, but you can build 2 little teams out of your leftovers basically and beat that team. That's good.
Recall the title of this video. Let's talk TW strategy, not arena.
Like at the end of the day, people just see your banners. People don't see how you've gotten them. Like don't be that guy that goes in and gets like just rushes to the ships and beats 3 ship fleets and then beats like 1 team. So I got my 4 banners. Don't be that guy. It's just like or don't be the guy that gets all their banners from sniping, like somebody else's half-beaten battle. Like earn your banners. Take some pride in your banners. Like pick teams apart. It's fun. I'm having a lot of fun. You're getting some use out of characters. None of these characters in this picture have any speed except Acolyte. Like, I don't have any secondary speed really on any of them.
Huh.
Because we all
They're lucky to have mods.
Well, yeah, but we've all gotten the gold mods. When they start with 5 speed, you roll it 4 times and none of it goes to speed. And in our minds, we're all pissed off. But in actuality, you might have a damn good mod. You might have one with like 32 defense. You might have one with 2,500 protection. You might have one with 130 offense. Those are great mods. Just because they don't have speed doesn't mean you should just like toss them in the trash. They're not good.
130 offense. That sounds like a snow trooper mod.
Yeah, you need all of your mods. Like you really do. You need. I mean, even the ones that don't have speed, there are places to put them. Just build sets out of those and just place them on a character. That's half the fun to me in mods is you build mod sets and put the character. You don't. You build mod sets and put the correct character into the mod sets. You don't do it the other way. If that makes any sense.
Probably doesn't. You've said that to me before, and I'm like, but I guess it's just the nature of it's just the nature of the game in that the limiting factor is not the toon. The limiting factor is the mod. So you have to build your team around the mods rather than the other way around.
Yeah.
That's a good segue into our next section. Those are so this is a section showing like 2 weird ass teams that can chip away at the meta, right? It's not necessarily that these guys are gonna like go against a Ray team and take them all down, but it's in territory wars what you're looking to do, and I'm sure that everybody knows this, is that you're looking to, when you have a wall of arena-worthy teams, you're not going to get through that unless you've put on a sucky little defense for your guild. You're going to have to. You have shit left. You've put your gold on defense, and you've got your wooden nickels to deal with. So it's about chipping away at teams. It's about figuring out what's going to chip away at them and what's going to win and what's not going to just feed more turn meter and give more protection back. And, you know, it's the most frustrating thing in the world to go against a team and then come out and have more protection than you had on that team than when you went in the first place. So I'm also gonna make this into a little infographic, but I'm gonna add one more thing. It's like a little checklist that I have that I'm trying to improve on, that I'm sure most people have when they're fighting territory wars. This segment is called The Process to Fight Territory Wars. Yes, we're gonna do this, people?
Okay.
Yeah!
Huzzah.
Huzzah! So...
Holy crap, there's 2 more pages?
There's 2 more pages. We don't have to do all of it, though. I think this... Let me just try and do this really quickly, because this might not be interesting to anybody but a few, but really... We've been working really hard on defensive teams. I feel like we're ready now to work on offensive teams. It's you know, our defensive teams are very, you know, are well developed, and now it's a matter of trying to build and mod offensive teams, and I haven't done that. I've modded my defensive team as well, but not the offensive team. So, process to fight TW, build your teams beforehand. You need to decide on certain scenarios. You need to mod certain toons. For instance, I took my Boba Fett into territory wars with, say, he was at, you know, 220 speed. Oh, that's really nice, Boba, but, you know, he didn't have a critical damage triangle on him. So I killed Chase, and he had like 1 little red tick of health left, and then healed up back to his full health again. Well, that doesn't do me any good, right? You have to make sure that the toons that you're taking in are modded properly, just like your defensive toons are. For our guild, you know, there tends to be two regions of like very arena worthy teams in front of ships. And if, you know, sometimes we go bottom, sometimes we go top, you never know. But if we are going top, then it's basically everyone has the responsibility to take down a meta team. And I ask them to do that before they go to bed. Sometimes they tease me and say, I'm not going to sleep tonight because it's absolutely fucking impossible. But that's, you know, that's what happens. Sometimes what happens, though, is when people aren't patient, you can just be throwing away your toon. So it's really the balance of, you know, being courageous and, you know, tackling teams for your guild, and also not being, you know, overly confident in taking down a team that you, or just, you know, just trying to take down a team when you know damn well you're not going to be able to.
Guilty. I try to be the hero way too often. Just waste teams in TW. It's like shit. It's like
really?
Trying to take on us. Yeah, yeah. I always waste all my good teams, like trying to be like big baller and go in there and just get dumped on. Didn't have to retreat because I didn't kill anybody, and then I just pick them apart with all my bullshit. It's really, I got it backwards.
Yeah, my biggest success has been I can take down a meta with my Nightsisters, and then I gotta wait. And maybe now that I've been working really hard on trying to figure out offensive teams this week, so maybe I'll be able to do another CLS team, or like a CLS team as well. But if you're not patient, then you're just throwing away teams, and that's a great strategy for territory wars, is building such a wall that people are getting frustrated and trying to you know, in the face of low participation, everybody should be able to take down one meta, but in the face of low participation, if folks aren't showing up, then you're trying to do the job of other people. Not gonna work.
Well, Darth Hideous makes a good point in the chat. He says, better to be the hero than to be the bitch. So, there we go. Wise words of the viewers.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
Do you have a rule around sniping in Zai?
No.
Ours is.
We're gonna have to do something though.
Ours is you have to wait for 5 minutes before you attempt a team. But I think you mentioned earlier just you know, you got to ask before, you know, ask and get confirmation before.
Well, what I do, and it's not because it's a rule, but like if I go in and I just like, you know, like let's say there's like a Kylo Ren left or a CLS left, and I don't have much of my roster left without using like my top end stuff. Then like in the game chat, I'll be like, you know, CLS of, you know, player 69, 69, 420, you know, CLS left.
Sorry, go on. That was good.
I don't know. I haven't even really brought that up. We got.
Yeah, that's good. I did that last time. I was struggling, and I like my Nightsisters took down a team, and it was like R2 had like one little bit of red health left, like a tiny little bit of red health left, and then there was GK and Ray, I think, and I had taken out BB-8 and I don't know, somebody else. But it was like a doable team with a meta, but I just didn't want to put one of my. I thought I could take down another CLS team with my Vader lead, so I gave it away, right? So we really try not to look at offensive wins in our guild because we want people to work together. We want people to be playing with each other to take down teams, you know, in a coordinated way, because sniping is just going to make everybody feel like shit. So that's the biggest enemy in territory wars is your guild falling apart because it feels like shit to play this game mode.
Well, it's I wish the banners were done a little bit differently. Like maybe like let's say, you know, Teals, you and I go in, and the three of us take down a team. We should all get like, you know, 3 banners, and the guy that wins or a girl that actually completes the battle gets 4 or something like that. Like that'd be cool to see, because you get a much better picture of how your guild does than if somebody just goes in and, you know, just like somebody's used 3 teams to pick them apart, and somebody just goes in and swoop picks up that banner.
Running it right now. What? So at least I'm not running it right now.
I agree. I think it's
at least a little
important,
bit.
and we put that sniping rule in, and
I'm back, and I forgot to mute. Cool.
You talk about a treadmill or something, right?
Sure.
We're talking about sniping. All right, so be patient with your teams if they are not adequate. You have to go in and you have to look at...
Did you tell them it's your birthday tomorrow?
Yes, he did!
Hashtag blushing on my birthday.
Not really.
What are you going to do for your birthday, Teals?
Dinner, and kid gets to get watched tomorrow night, so wifey and I can go do
Frolic
something.
among the tulips.
That.
Hi,
there's
Boba
no arguing.
Teals.
Say hi.
Hola.
¿Cómo está? That's all. I think that's... How are you doing?
The tough part is you're in my headphones and she's yelling across the house.
So yeah, territory wars. I'm just worried this is gonna be a little boring. So we've got build your teams beforehand, defensive and offensive. Be patient if they're not adequate. Don't waste 5 teams on something that you know you're not going to beat. Look at all the toons. You got a long press on every single one of those toons. Look for Zeta and speed. You can usually tell by the power how many Zetas they have if you're going up against a CLS team and they're, you know, under 100k. Well, you know that CLS doesn't have 3 Zetas on them, so you can kind of tell a little bit from that. But you know, might as well just look at everybody. Definitely look at key speed toons, those 10 toons that we mentioned beforehand. Look at all of those and make sure that their speed, that you're going to be able to beat their speed. And make sure you add in the calculations for leader abilities, etc., etc. Pick the most difficult team that you can manage. You know, if you're listening to this stream, you're a keener, you're not going in and, you know, killing the, Gear 8 Phoenix team with your, the Ray team that you didn't put in. But pick the biggest one that you can manage so that there's not, 10 of the worst teams left at the end for when your buddies of lower GP come into the game and try and take one out. Pay attention to your guild's rules around sniping. Work together with other players. Airplane mode. This is key. So, when you go into the game at any point in time, even if you're sending a suicide squad in to drain cooldowns or to check out how much turn meter all of the toons that you're going against have, or to try and manipulate their turn meter so that they're not at full turn meter when you're going in against them, go in an airplane mode. So you basically go in, you hit battle, and then you pull down your screen, however you do airplane mode on your phone, and you go into airplane mode. You might have to do it a couple of times, go back on and off to make sure that you can get in on airplane mode, and then battle in airplane mode, die. Say you're just sending a suicide squad in. If you liked what you saw, then great. Just go back off airplane mode and then you'll get the defeat sign in there. Wonderful. If you're on a suicide squad and you're all of them have had their abilities reset recently, so I think I'll have a better chance of going in before this, so then you just hard close your game, however you do that. And then also, if you go in and you're not completely sure and you end up taking 10% damage off of General Kenobi, that team was pristine before you went in there, no, you get the fuck out of there on airplane mode and you hard close it, and don't leave the next guy with 10% turn meter or 10% protection off of General Kenobi and 50% turn meter on everyone. That is not worth it. If you can take all of Kenobi's protection off, maybe that's worth it, but not just a tiny little tick off other toons, right?
10% damage off of one toon and screwed up turn meter is much worse than starting fresh.
Exactly. And just generally, this is out to guild leaders and officers. I don't know. You gotta find other ways of measuring other than offensive wins, because it's just gonna encourage players to play for, compete against each other. And this is a guild, this is a raid, right? Yeah, okay, you have your end score, but really, when you're starting hat, it's the ability to finish versus not finish. And that's what CW is going to be like forever. There's never going to be a point where you're comfortable with finishing it every time and winning.
And here, for letter J.
What's that?
Letter J.
Oh.
Because, just one thing to add in, because I noticed this happened to us last time versus Black. You aren't going to clear everything out, especially those tough top zones, in the first 4 hours. Do not, by any means, start throwing your randoms trying to beat these teams when you know 2/3 of your guild hasn't even participated yet. This is a 24-hour event. Some of these people don't get on till late. Some of them do it in the morning. Utilize that last 6 hours to start using your B and C teams that can do a damn, instead of burning and wasting them early. Because you're going to get to the point where you're going to get to that back center, or that back zone, those second to back zones, and all of a sudden they're getting easier teams. You're getting Phoenix, you're getting random Rebels, you're getting some random first order, mediocre teams. Well, guess what? Your B and C squads are going to actually do a damn versus you trying to throw the C squad at another fast JTR squad and having to cancel the fight in airplane mode because you're frustrated you're not clearing that zone yet. There's been a few TWs we don't get to ships, we don't get past 2 zones, whether we go bottom or top, in the first 18 hours, and then we have 3/4 of it done by the end. Patience. Tell everybody to take their turn. If they can't take it out, wait for somebody until you get into that last sprint And when you get in that last 8-hour sprint, that's when you start throwing things, because it will clear.
And like an addendum to that, show up. Like, try and show up before, you know, you got to show up early for your guild.
Make an appearance in that first 12 hours, please.
Yeah, just make, well, even in the first 3 hours, show up, kill your meta. It takes as much time as killing an arena team, and then, you know, get the fuck out. Like, and just set people free to, like, to take everything down. It makes a huge difference. The Territory Wars is like 99% about participation and 1% about what you set up, because everyone's setting up the same freaking thing. We're seeing very little deviation from the norm now. We saw the Hermit Yoda thing with Barris last time. You know, we have some teams that folks haven't seen before, but...
And if one of your members is saying, you know, I can't get a single combat banner, what are you throwing at what? Let's take them back and talk it out. What are you throwing? Are you just wasting everything, or are you actually using something that might work? Because you're not going to get a combat banner throwing 7 teams at something that wasn't meant to beat it in the first place.
And something as well is that we have practice. Like, go in. My shard mates think I'm building some, like, amazing Empire team. I'm not. I'm just going in with an Empire team that's often, like, Thrawn lead, or, like, this is before Vader and EP, but, like, Thrawn lead, and I'm just trying to take down one of their toons. Like, that's my whole goal. And so I'll spend, like, 50 or 150 crystals a day just trying to take down 1 or 2 toons on a team in an arena. And you look like a bit of an idiot, but, like, that's the only way for us to practice anymore, because Galactic War is how Galactic War is. So you either practice in arena, or you don't practice, or you practice in Territory Wars. And I would greatly prefer if you did not practice in Territory Wars for any of our guildies out there. You know, take it into arena. See if you can take down 1 or 2 toons in arena. That is a great Territory War team, offensive team, right? You don't need to be taking down the whole thing. You need to be just dismantling it bit by bit. All right, that's it. If anybody has any suggestions to add to our Territory Wars checklist, join our Discord server. Good old Maurice, you still there?
Yep.
This is our last segment. The title is Profit and EA. Key abilities to take with you on offense. I think there might be a typo there. We're bitching about EA and Profit.
You should change up the picture because it's getting old.
Oh, okay. Let's see what we have here. Oh, okay, another one. So, yeah. Let's see, what should we put up here? Boop, 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 boop. That's all you get, folks. That's all you get. If you haven't noticed, we're actually a podcast, camouflaging ourselves as a vodcast.
Which I am looking into seeing what it takes to make a podcast, because I know we have some overseas people or people without YouTube Red that want to listen while driving.
Well, I won't listen to us, and I would love to listen to us. Like, fuck, I'm not listening to that. I have to leave my phone open on YouTube. Fuck that. But Grim helped us with that.
I'm looking at options.
Grim helped us with that, so we have, and I'll pay for that. It's like $7 a month or something ridiculous. So.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. We're already looking into it, and I didn't even know. I'm helping.
You're helping, but if you get set up, that'd be great. All right. What's Skype saying? Skype's beeping me.
Little Breeze has got to hit the hay for an early morning.
Yeah, I gotta hit the road, guys.
Can you do just this one last section, because it's really yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
3 minutes, go.
Okay, so there are key abilities to take with you on offense, and these can even be on very low geared toons, but they're very clutch. I'm sorry, that's like a new generation word that I've just completely like taken. They're very clutch abilities to take with you. So there are 3 of them, and then we've added 2 more. Buff immunity / target lock, healing immunity, daze, and then stun and shock. So, I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna set you free on this. Good on race, school us.
Well, buff immunity is clutch. I think what the millennials are saying nowadays, clutch. Using offense, and it's going to prevent everything. Like the Ray teams, you get buff immunity spread around these teams. They're worthless. I mean, they're not worthless, but it totally loses its firepower if they're not spreading around. The poop emoji move, Ray's not getting turn meter. Ray's, 9 times out of 10, the biggest damage dealer, on the team, at least in arena. TW, I guess a lot of people are using Scavenger Ray, but you stop the spread of that move. Like I said, like Bait and Shroot, you block them from getting the heal over times. You block characters from going stealth. You block them, block it all. They can't do any sort of buff whatsoever.
It makes GK, Barris, and Baze, all of them crap.
Yeah, you can. And what it does is because like you said, it prevents GK from taunting, so it will allow your lesser characters, like your B-ish characters, to really get through and kill the opposing DPS. Because the problem with your lighter teams, like your backup B and C teams, is they really lack offense. They have a hard time getting through a GK. They have a hard time getting through a Shore Trooper, a Baze, because they just don't have enough oomph in their offense to get through those characters. But the buff block prevents all the taunts, prevents the foresight, prevents the heal over time. So when you're doing damage, you're hitting the opposing key targets. They're not healing. They're not getting buffs. You can just pick them apart that way. I mean, B2 is I preach B2 all the time. And while you look at this kid and you're like, damn, that character is boring. I don't want to do him. Like, if you ever get B2 and you ever get him to, like, Gear 10, Gear 11, you realize how clutch he is. And especially in this scenario like TW, where you can put him on any team. Any team you can put him on. These abilities we have listed here, basically when you're making up a team, I mean, you want to have at least one, if not multiple, of these abilities. Just it's a way to pick apart opposing meta teams with maybe 2 teams without using your meta characters, and that's what you need to do. Especially the stronger defense you have, the more likely you're going to win. So you have to really utilize everybody on your roster. All of us are going to be getting IPD very soon, especially now with these double shards. He does it on his target lock. Palpatine has got that rework. His shock prevents buffs. All sorts of stuff. Apart from CLS, there's really not too many. I guess TIE Fighter pilot. The rest are they're not bad characters, but they're just kind of leftovers in a faction. Like, Nightsister Initiate we talked about earlier. She's kind of the leftover Nightsister, the least desirable one. Cassian, in Rogue One, you definitely want him, but in like the Rebel faction overall, he's not a top tier Rebel, I guess, at least in my opinion. I guess others would argue. Anakin used to be good once upon a time. He's slightly above average now. Still a good character, but he does it on his basic. And then Krennic, who's a hard farm, good character, but a hard farm. And Super Commando, Poe, obviously, is a very good one. Rebel Leia. There's a lot of characters do it. A lot of characters you probably have. So start utilizing it, I guess.
B2 is in, like, I have him at, I don't know, he's like 5 or 6 stars, Gear 8, not like, and I took him in the Gear 5, and it's like his AoE, like he dispels, like it's not like a partial dispel, like he dispels the whole other team, and then you need to have him at higher gear levels and higher potency for him to land the buff immunity on. But I mean, like this dude was like gear 5 or 6, level 60, and landing buff immunity on other toons. Like he's great to bring in with your resistance as a 5th. You know, if your Poe gets hit a couple times, you know, he goes and sprays, you know, his AoE on everyone. He's fantastic. I wish I had a little bit of gap in time that I could farm him up to gear 11 or 12, because he's so badass.
Well, in terms of TW, for TW purposes, you don't have to. You could use him 4-star gear 8. You know, like when he came out, when B2 first came out, he broke the game. He was broken. Like, he just destroyed the game. Like, there was an old saying, if you've played the game for longer than a year or so, there used to be a saying, if you can't beat a team, replace a character with B2 and try again. It was true. Because, I mean, you know, especially during the Maul meta, like, I mean, B2 was huge for me. I didn't have Maul, so, like, I had to piece together other shit, and B2 made all the teams. Every team I made during the Maul meta had B2 in it. It's just... He's a great character. He's fantastic, even at your 4-star, whatever you have him at, to beat a Maul team. You know, you can make your droids a little better with him. You can take out take out a character and put a B2. It helps them out a lot. Just yeah, he's one of the best characters in the game still. Just he's very boring kit, very hard gear.
I don't know if he's a boring kid so much as I guess it's not very dynamic. Is that he's got the two moves.
His basic does like 2,000 damage on a crit. He's like K2SO. It's just like he does no damage.
But he's so I know that you're not saying this, but he's so much better than K2SO. Like he's
Well, and you know,
what hate on my K2SO?
Has anybody gone up against him and Ray? That would be pretty kick-ass. B2 feeding BB-8 the 8% turn meter and or not even turn meter.
If I had a stronger B2, I would run Ray with 4 droids.
Okay, we're gonna stop right here, and we're gonna say if you could have any character and any mods, what team would you run in Arena? Give you a second to think about that.
Who are you talking to?
Everybody, all of us.
I would run Asajj lead.
Shut up.
Talzin, Barriss, Nightsister Zombie, and Nightsister Spirit.
And you don't have Spirit though.
That is correct.
BB-90 Revan. Yes.
I'd like to play that First Order team from Fanboy Week.
It's a nice team. I really want to have the droid in there. I got to run him today in territory battles. I geared him to whatever 8 or 9, and then ran him in territory battles, and it was with a Vader lead, and it was, I don't know, he's a cool little thing, and there's such a sometimes I forget, even with Anakin and you know Rey, like I forget the kind of the lore of the the Star Wars universe with those guys. Like I just forget it. But somehow with the Imperial probe droid, I just remember that I just remember that moment of that droid in the movie. Like I don't know, I like it. It's cool. I'm happy to have the droid in the game. Okay. This is the one that I wanted you to talk about before you went, because I don't know how to talk about this well. But when you think of your defensive teams, right? You're looking for toons that can generate their own heal, that can regenerate protection. You want
self-sustaining.
You want self-sustaining teams. Yeah, you want teams that someone fights and comes out and they're like, gosh darn it, like I had them down to like no protection, and now they've got full, or the Nightsisters, like they're back to full health. How did that happen? Is ridiculous. So healing immunity is something that's very important for offensive toons, and I think especially when you're fighting like those solo CLS or those solo Sidious, and you're going against them, you want to try and take them down with as few toons as possible, and healing immunity is absolutely essential for doing that. Gom, do you want to talk about that a little bit more?
Yeah, basically, like for what you just said, people run Bays and Shuret. They run a lot of guilds run like a Thrawn lead where they regenerate protection. Anything that regenerates protection regenerates health, including Barris. The only thing it doesn't prevent is like equalized healing from like Hermit Yoda and Barris. But basically, you just neutralize that aspect of it. Like if somebody's using a Thrawn lead, because it blocks protection up, or yeah, it blocks protection regen too. You just go across like with your Darth Sidious, your IG-88, your old school Kylo. These guys all have healing immunity on their basics, among some others, but those are all on their basics, which is pretty clutch. You just go in and just block them from healing it. I mean, it neutralizes Barris. It completely takes Barris out of the equation. Especially in these the dark side TBs, all these rebels have massive amounts of healing, and they do all these crazy healing moves. It will block it as long as it's not, cleansed first. But yeah, if you just stop the healing, the name is pretty much. I don't think you really. I know that sounded like an asshole thing to say, but like, you don't. I think it's often overlooked, that debuff, and you go in, you might be scrambling to make up some B teams. You bring in like an IG-88, you bring in a Darth Sidious, and you're like, oh, I just mowed through that Barris. Well, because she wasn't healing, So I don't really know how to explain.
Speaking of Darth Sidious, if you take Scavenger Ray out of your old school Resistance team, Darth Sidious fits in just fine.
Say again?
He's fun. Darth Sidious goes in with a Zeta Finn team really well.
Yes. Well, he will, for Zeta Finn, he gets off his AoE and gets everybody going, and that's basically the only time he gets to go. But that's, there are certain toons that you can kind of like insert into that 5th slot. Because with Zeta Finn, I run 4, and then I stick a 5th one in for fun. Basically, I run Zeta Finn, Poe, Resistance Trooper, Resistance Pilot, and my Resistance Pilot is gear 7, 8. I can't remember. It's very low gear. Poe is 10 or 9. Finn is 11. Resistance Pilot is 11, and yeah. So, and then you just stick a 5th one in. So BB-8? No, not BB-8. My bad. What's the droid we were just talking about? The big guy. The AoE dude.
B2?
B2. And then who'd you just say? B2. Sidious and Sabine. B2 gets to go more because he gets turn meter if someone gets poked and he gets triggered to freak out. But Sabine and Sidious, they basically get to go once or twice, but it's useful.
I've been having fun throwing Sabine in as a 5th with my clones, because I'm using Rex as a lead somewhere else.
That's cool.
Yeah. I've also used Scarif Rebel Pathfinder as an option too.
I wish I had him. I wish I...
He's awesome.
I think of all the times that I've missed simming that challenge, and I probably could have him. Right? God damn it. Okay, one of my officers was just like, do you still want me to be an officer? I'm like, yeah, why? It's like, because I'm not an officer in game. I'm like, it's because I forgot. You have to tell me. Obi-Wan and Doobie. There we go.
Obi-Wan needs to talk and chat. Jesus Christ. Come on, dude.
He's in school. All of our nerdy. I have. How many officers do we have now? Let's see. It's ridiculous. We like to be. The wolf pack is 26th in the galaxy for arena rank right now. We also like to be top for leadership. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
3 minutes is way up.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I gotta go.
11, 12 officers, including.
Good night, Maurice.
Thank you,
Yeah, you
good
got
old Maurice. Thank you for sharing all of your.
Be sure to talk about the healing immunity and the Palpatine meta we're in now.
I don't know what to say about that.
What?
Go ahead, because I don't know what to say about that. So do that and then leave.
Well, his leader ability, and everybody's using Palpatine. We're in the middle, we're in the Palpatine meta now. It's here, and Palpatine's leader ability gives 20% turn meter or 20% health, to Sith whenever they drop a debuff, and if they have healing immunity on them, it just completely neutralizes Palpatine's lead regarding the Sith.
Very cool. We need to get together and do a little dismantle the Emperor Palpatine meta, because that's how I learn about this game and get better at this game, is that you guys just tell me what to do. So
yeah, I'm sorry I got to bail, guys. I just got to get up really early tomorrow.
Yes,
Thank
go.
you.
Yeah. All right, guys. See you guys later. Good luck.
All right, so I think we're down to 2 because Darth Bob has just been silent for at least 25 minutes.
Darth Bob, are you there?
Doubtful.
And I have to pee really bad. But I don't want it to end. Let's see. Has the same video been playing over and over? No, it's just that. Okay. Okay, so
we're at 2 hours and 11 minutes. It's not like we haven't covered a lot.
We have. I feel like I love our stream so much. I feel like it's so meaty, and I'm sorry that we don't take questions from chat. There's only so many things I can juggle with my brain the way it is. Teals?
We may have to do some sort of.
Teals, you need to do a soliloquy. I'll be right back.
We'll have to do Q&A stream sometime.
All right, what's happening? So, trying to look at the list where we left off. Let's just answer some questions from the stream, because I'm lost without her guidance. Otherwise, we got Sith Raid coming up, guys.
We sure do.
Yeah. We should be seeing that quality of life coming up.
I really want to have a leadership to leadership, what's it called? Stream on the weekends or something like that, where we can just, I don't know, even have a whole bunch of leaders on and just talk about stuff. And because I don't know, I think we do a pretty good job at leading the guild, and I learn lots from other people too, but
exactly,
so what I really want to say is, guild leaders out there, officers out there, people who care for your guild out there, start preparing your guild for the raid being a really hard time. For it being a time that's worse than territory battles, that's worse than territory wars, for your guild just sucking at something for a prolonged period of time. This is how raids have always been. They've always, the two that have come before us, they've always torn guilds apart, and they will tear guilds. This raid, maybe not so much now because we've had so much upheaval from past territory wars and past TBs in the last little while. There's been so much shift in movement, but it'll be another time of upheaval for us. So just try and, I don't know, prime your players and just say, like, just normalize it. Like, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck for a month or 2 months until, you know, these top guilds figure out the best teams to push through these raids with, and then we'll copy them and off we go, you know, or we'll do our own theory crafting, however you work. I like to steal other people's ideas and just run with that, because there's lots of really amazing players in this game. But, you know, your guild, unless it is 150 million GP or above, is not going to beat this raid the first time around, and then it's going to feel shitty for a lot of people who don't understand the history of raids in this game. Like, okay, I'm going to continue to rant. When the Rancor came out, the recommended gear level was 9, and the level, I can't remember what the level was, but for Hat, the recommended gear level was 10, and they raised it to 11 before or right, like during the raid, like during the first like month or two of the raid. And then the recommended level for your character is 80, but they raised the level cap to 85 during the first little part of the game. So what are they going to do now? Like, there's a history, and there's a sequence that they've been going through. Very, very, very likely they're going to require gear 11 to get into the game, right? No, can you? Maybe you can. No, it'll be 7-star requirement, but it'll be recommended gear 11 and level 85. But really, like, think about beating Hat with level 80 and gear 10. Like, no, you're not gonna do that. Like, it's a super struggle.
I remember when we were getting people ready for Hat before we weren't entirely sure. It's like, all right, get your Wigs and get your Wigs team ready, you know, Wigs Lando and whatnot to gear 10, because, you know, that was doing 4 million in normal, and then you put him in and 210,000 later.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, you know, we're what are we now? Teal's like, we're inching up to 140 million, but there's no way we're gonna try the P7 or whatever the hell it is first. Like, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna let Team Instinct go and eat that up, and we're gonna do our P6 or our P5, and we're gonna figure out our teams, and we're not. We gotta
mechanics this thing first, man.
Yeah.
Totally gotta mechanics this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, very, very likely they're going to raise the level cap to level 90. So think about your credits. Think about, you know, what toons you want to be able to take to level 90 as you climb up, because it's going to take a while for you to go.
Shut your mouth that night.
It's not going to happen overnight. You have to go level 85, 86, 80. Like, you have to. So you're going to be able to build credits. You can't just take everybody up to level 90 right away. But there's.
That, or they're going to add some other way of farther tuning your character.
I am so worried that they're going to have 6-dot mods, man.
The way they've been tweaking things, adding a level cap right now, they're going to have to completely rework the abilities tree. And now there's going to be a 9th tier with a new item to farm. And, oh, God, I could only just...
A 9th tier? What are you talking about?
9th tier to ability levels beyond the Zeta or beyond the Omega.
Well, I think that the Zetas happened relatively recently, and I think that cycle is going to happen for, like,
that came with
Omega,
the tank raid?
Zeta, and something else. But I think we can count on level 90 and not required gear 12 toons, but realistically, that's the teams that you're sending in. So if you think of how many gear 12 toons you have at the moment and how far they would get in a brutal raid. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of a shakeup, but just prepare your players for it and tell them the truth. You're not gonna be the first guild to finish it, but you're gonna plan ahead and you're gonna do your best, and they need to sit the fuck down and not sit the fuck down, but you know what I mean. Please don't leave.
Yeah. Regardless, it's gonna be awesome.
Hey, how's it going, Graham? Is that
It's going pretty good.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
What are you farming right now, Grim?
What am I farming? I am almost finished with 7-starring my Unmasked Kylo.
Oof.
And I'm about halfway to 7-starring the Silencer. Then I'm going to go over to finish farming up Sith Assassin.
Cool.
I
Oh,
feel like
Grim,
I don't
go.
have enough Gear 12 tunes right now. I hate those triple molly up Gear 12 pieces. I hate them so much.
Oh yeah.
I hate them. The ones that was like 1 carb, 1 MK5, like 50 MK5 balls, and then a gel, and then a eyeball, and it's like, ugh. And those are the best ones. Like, oh my god.
Well, the Gear 11 to Gear 12 thing, those couple pieces are just absolutely horrific.
I find it very demotivating, but you have yeah. I've always been one to take tunes all the way to the highest gear level. This is the first time that I've been slacking a little bit on that. I think I have 12 Gear 12 tunes. Like, I'm usually like 4th or 5th in the guild for number of like highest geared tunes.
No.
But like middle of the road GP.
Yeah.
That's how it's been in the past, but now I'm just middle of the road for everything. I'm average.
I'm just
Average
trying to
too.
get everything to Gear 11. And then I'm going to worry about Gear 12 after everybody's done.
I'm just trying to get everything to 85 still.
Oh, yeah, forget that.
Because the way I look at it is, by the time I'm done Gear 11, everybody, I'll have a shitload of the Gear 11 to Gear 12 resources saved up.
Sure.
To where I can go straight right there.
Sorry, Cam. I don't even know how good the Gear 12 pieces are. Like, the bayonets, okay. The bayonets. The shields, okay. Like, the health, what are they called? The ones that increase the health by 3,500 health points. Like, those are awesome. But, I don't know. The other ones seem a little bit ridiculous.
On anybody that uses special damage, those armor tech wristbands are godly.
Are they?
Yeah. The multi-tools are amazing.
Are they?
They are.
Yes, they're
Totally
all
understand.
pretty good.
Maybe I don't understand.
I mean, anybody that does special damage, getting that wristband is going to take them to a different level. Just like getting a bayonet on a physical damage tune. Cybernetics cores, or the armor tech cybernetics, are fantastic. In hunter tactics, with physical damage and crit, it's kind of a killer combo. It's good.
I guess I feel like
It's
the
good,
difference
dude.
between winning and losing in arena, that it's so slight that like that's not gonna, like, either I win or I lose in arena, and there's no real gray area. Like, it's either I lose and it's fucking shitty and awful, or I win. Like, and those Gear 12 pieces are not gonna make the difference between like a horrific awful win and a very easy win.
Well, in the end, it still comes down to whoever has the highest speed wins.
It's
You can have an entire team of Gear 11 characters, and you can wipe the floor of fighting a Gear 12 max team that has lesser speed mods than you do.
Very true.
We were talking tonight about how strategic this game is, and how kind of scary that is sometimes. For instance,
I love it.
like mods, and the fact that they didn't put any Gear 12 speed pieces on. I'm wondering if that's going to really affect us. Not affect us. I wonder if they're going to manipulate that through 6-dot mods.
Yeah, it's possible.
I mean, it says it right when you're selling your mods. It says it right there. It's like blasphemous. Like 6-dot mods, 7-dot mods. Like, no. Okay, like, think of how useless 3-dot mods are, and even 4-dot mods to a great extent. Like, man, if they do that, why do I always get a decent Galactic War team when I got
a full CLS.
I have to reset right away.
I got a full CLS chase on my GW Node 12 today. It was awesome.
I got GK Xeris on my Node 12. It sucked.
No, I loved it because I could actually. I'm like, oh wait, because I was just going through with my Imperial Troopers because it's the fastest way to do it for me, and I'm like, oh wait, no, exit. Let's bring in a team. Let's bring in something crap. Let's work with it. Okay, get rid of it. Let's go and play with 5 other teams until I finally decide I'm done and I want to beat it. That's what really happens. Because I don't get to sandbox anymore unless I get one of those Node 12s.
When people say sandbox, it reminds me of something naughty. I can't remember what it is, though.
Getting sand in your box?
Maybe it's the word box. Sandbox. Hotbox, maybe? Yeah, I'm having trouble beating my last node. Usually I just auto whatever, like... And it's...
I kind of miss the days of getting the hard battles in Galactic War.
I had no
Because
issue
you could
with them.
test out different teams to see what you could beat it with.
Yep. It literally prepared people for TW, and those that are like, oh my god, thank you for these easy, Galactic Wars, it's like, they don't know how to beat anything with anything.
Well,
It's terrible.
back before Imperial Troopers were cool, that's what I was using to go through the hard Galactic War, because it would just mow through everything.
Did you just say back before Imperial Troopers were cool?
Hey, I've ever since they did the rework of Imperial Troopers, I've been saying they are awesome. It's only until recently when people were like, oh, I guess, I'm going to get these up because they're cool. I've been saying it for like 4 months.
I know, Grim. I'm one of those ones that have jumped on the bandwagon. They're a good team. The hard part is now...
Wixel with the badumch. Wixel said if they make a sandbox mode, we won't be able to use Anakin.
I just restarted my Galactic War with 17 seconds left. Do you realize how many times I've done that? What a thrill it is to be a procrastinator. All you organized people, you don't know the true meaning of life. This is
why I like playing an Eastern Origin account in California. My game resets at 9 p.m. My Galactic War is done before 10.
Rank 1. Oh, my fleet rewards. Hey, Teals. I have something to tell you. I might sort of maybe need to play your account for like 10 or 15 days after I leave the guild, because I haven't been keeping your crystals up, and you had 3,069 when I took over your account, and you have 2,050 now or something. So,
I don't care.
Just so you know. But you do have like a lot of gear and a lot of Zetas, except I spent one on Ventress.
Oh, you threw one on Asajj, right on.
I did, yeah. I put on Asajj. It was kind of by mistake, but I was intending to do that anyway.
It just happened.
I was like, beep, beep,
Hey,
beep, beep,
Asajj
beep,
is-
beep. Whoops. Ooh, okay. Well, I guess that's ahead of schedule.
It's okay. She's like, what, gear 11
Asajj's
with a
Zetas
Zeta
are
now?
awesome.
I don't know what she is. Let me go into that account.
I'm looking at it right now. She's gear 11 with the Zetas.
Oh, she's gear 11. I got her to gear 11. That's good.
Yeah, now you just got to finish that last star.
Yeah, I got stars on Ventress and Daka to finish, and Acolytes chugging along too.
Cool.
MT is just staying as she is, but yeah, I'm hoping to use that to climb an arena, because I have to farm more mods for it. It's fun to have this little account. Not that it's a little account, but it's fun to have this other account that I can, Like, I'd love to start from scratch again, and this isn't starting from scratch. It's better than that.
It's starting at a fun point. It's starting after the grind is over.
Totally. Like, after the, I gotta get the tunes for the credit heist, and I gotta get the tunes for Thrawn, and I got, it's...
No, that hard part's over.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fun.
Cool. Alright. Well...
Oh, are we done? I don't know.
Yeah, I think we've hit everything we need to hit.
Smoke says, "Don't play with my heart, T." Okay. For the first time in forever, T Money is gonna go into the Nerfherder chat. I don't like doing that. It freaks me out a little bit, but if people want to come in there, then let's do it. I just get shy.
She doesn't like a crowded chat.
I don't like crowded chat. I freak out. But there I am, bitch slap pudding, all by myself in chat. Come on and join me.
Alright. And on that bombshell, this is where we sign out.
Alright. Thank you for joining us. Hey, if you're still listening, that means you love us. Maybe share this shit. It was a good stream tonight, even though we didn't have a fanboy. There wasn't anything really fireworksy spectacular, but I feel like it was a really meaty stream. I feel like it's often a very meaty stream, so share the content. And yeah,
good info. We didn't go off any deep ends. Feel free to share with your friends. We're gonna get a podcast out soon. Just want more followers, more people to talk to, have fun with.
Absolutely.
In the end, just like everybody else, thanks for showing up. Make sure to tune in every Thursday at 7:30 Pacific, 10:30 East with us. Check out our friends with the Reality Suit Gaming. They're on Wednesdays at 8:30, Saturday mornings at 10, and Saturday evenings at 8.
And every lunchtime now they're doing a stream every lunch. They're putting out tons of content.
They're doing about an hour session during Infinity's lunchtime at noon, so go check them out. Go say hi. They're good friends. We started this because of them. It kind of sparked our own ideas and wanted just to take it to another level. So check out our friends, hang out in our Discord, share our stream, bring friends, get more followers. Like, subscribe if you haven't, and we'll see you next week.
Okay, one more thing. Where is
it?
I'm trying to show the gif of balls again, but I can't figure it out.
Label better. Label the balls. The Balchinian. Yep, you lost it. There it is.
There we go.
Alright. Now y'all get out of here.
Bye, guys. Oh, no, that's me. I gotta stop the stream this time.
Hit stop.
Stop streaming.